I'm a self-employed tour manager and tour guide, and my passion is I customize any travel planning and also travel planning as well as tours as well. So it's called, the tagline for my business is custom travel planning and tours to Secret Italy.
This episode of Grounded in Maine is sponsored by ESG Review. ESG Review magazine is published quarterly in February, May, August, and November, and is available for free in print and digital formats. ESG Review is devoted to environmental, social, and governance strategies, technologies, and investments. ESGreview.net is updated every Wednesday with 8 new stories and is home to feature articles, news items, and more. Visit esgreview.net to stay informed and help us spark the collaboration and awareness needed to develop sustainable economies and communities around the world.
There's a place where there's no trouble, no more pain, no more struggle.
Grounded in Maine podcast is an open conversation about how we show up for the world. I started this podcast out of a desire to learn new ways to be sustainable because the word sustainability is big. It can be overwhelming, and I just wanted to learn, different ways to try to be part of the solution and not feel like it's too late. So I'm talking to people who are doing different things and learning so much. I hope you are too. Hi there. Thank you so much for listening to Grounded in Maine today. My name is Amy Fagan, and my guest today is Nicla Marinelli, and she is talking to us from Italy, where she lives, and she has this super cool business where she provides memorable vacations in Italy, and which makes, they're on the sustainable side, but there are so many ways that just make it so memorable and special, and I'm going to let her obviously tell you more about that because that's where she shines. But I think that hearing her talk about Italy the way that she knows it makes me want to go so much more. It just sounds so it's like secrets that tourists don't know that she's giving you a glimpse at. And I think that's so fantastic. So please enjoy this episode. Give Nicla a follow on Instagram or Facebook, and or check out her website. And if you are going to Italy, please hook up with Nicla and please tell me how it was, because I will be living vicariously through you guys for a little while. So please fill me in on anything exciting, okay? Thank you so much for listening. As always, I hope you enjoy this episode. I'll talk to you next week. Today, my guest is Nicla Marinelli, and Nicla is in Italy, and her business is called the Runaway Italian. Nicla, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited joining your podcast. Thank you.
Yes, I'm thrilled about your business. We've talked about this before, but so your business it's sort of like travel. I forget what you call it, but it's almost like you're a travel concierge, which is exactly what I would want in the sustainability area. So tell us about that before I try to do that and I bungle it up.
No, that's no problem. Yes, basically, I'm a self-employed tour manager and tour guide, and my passion is I customize any travel planning and also travel planning as well as tours as well. So it's called, the tagline for my business is custom travel planning and tours to Secret Italy. So I'm passionate about people, immersing fully people in the local culture, get them to explore off the beaten path places that I've explored myself and that I know very well from my childhood. So that's my passion. But the other passion is about encouraging sustainable travel while doing it. I think in this day and age, it should be promoted more and more. as we live in a like throwaway society. Even when it comes to travel, as you well know, people should be more conscious of the way they travel, the way they do it, and they choose to help them do that.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's travel is, I want to say travel is famous for that, but like travel is always like short term. And so everything is throwaway, basically. You go to the hotel,
Yeah.
the glasses have plastic on them and the plastic bottles, everything is temporary. And all the washing of everything and oh, yeah.
I believe that there is um, a different way that respects the environment that you wish to explore, and also they give you a more immersive experience, a more enjoyable experience overall. Um, for example, last year I ran my very first tour here. I live in southern Puglia, in Salento, in the Salento area, which is a stunning area, beautiful. And I ran my first tour last year. And the experience, I think, that people had surpassed their expectations, because not only did we get to see wonderful scenery, but also people got to connect with the locals, with the culture, because they got to experiences various different things. For example, so specifically my tours is not just about a case of visiting places, but also I want to give them experiences that they would normally have while traveling. For example, we went to see a local sculptor. I also took him to a paper mache workshop. So to give them a flavor of the local heritage and the local crafts. I think it's very important to experience all of that when you're traveling, because you're going to appreciate much more the local culture and what you see.
Absolutely.
This is what I think anyway. I think it's quite important to do that. And when you, at the end of your experience, you're going to be left with wonderful memories that you'll never forget. And you get to experience a deeper flavor of Italy, I would say. And that's what I've always been passionate about. And I will carry on doing that. And that's why I think sustainable travel is the way to go, is the way forward,
Yeah.
in my view. And not just, sorry to interrupt you, not just about sustainable travel. I would say about be conscious about um, everything you do during your experience. It's about sustainable accommodation, rather than maybe staying in a hotel, a place that feels more like home to home. And and also it's about sustainable food at the same time. And I will touch more about that in a second, but I think it's about the overall experience that is going to be a bit more meaningful, more enjoyable for people that do travel, and it's going to make a difference to the environment that you explore, and maybe it puts you in touch with the local flavor of the place that you're seeing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So it sounds like, I mean, the with the paper mache workshop, it was like a hands-on experience and like experiencing things,
Yes.
literally like touching and tasting, and as opposed to like shipping people off on a bus and here, look from afar and, don't touch anything. Just, this is this site and this is this site and, look out the window and, that type of thing. But like here, this is what this is what it smells like. This is exactly what they're doing. And that sounds incredible.
Yes, exactly. I think when we travel, it's not just about admiring things and seeing things. It's also being exposed to the other senses as well. I call it a bit a feast of the senses. That's where you should be exposed to beautiful sounds, um, and the touch part came into it because when we went to the sculptor workshop, people actually got their hands on and got the opportunity to sculpt a very small piece, but they got to do that. And I think being exposed to something like that, it makes it
better.
yeah, it makes it 10 times better because they also took part in a dance class. And so they got exposed to all these various experiences, which I think leave an indelible mark in your mind. It makes you enjoy the experience so much more. And that's what I'm all about anyway. Even if I'm not organizing at all, but I help people plan their experience. It's about giving them the advice to go out there and explore all these different things and tell them this is available. This wherever you go and this is available to you. I encourage you to explore it. Whether it's a workshop, whether it's a cooking class. We actually had a cooking class as well.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Oh man. And so how long have you been doing this, Nicla?
Not very long. I'll just say my business started as a travel blog about, I would say, close to 10 years ago. And I sort of developed from there. I started writing about the Italy that I knew from my childhood, that I was passionate about because I also work as a tour manager. And I got to explore all these places that I also didn't know myself. They were off the beaten track. And I just started writing a travel blog, basically. I wrote quite a few articles. And from there came the idea of providing people with this custom experience, custom travel planning. And so it developed from there. Really, from there came my custom travel services and then my custom tours. So, in effect, is a business. It's been possibly 2-3 years, I would say. Yes. And I'm hoping to build it even more because, of course, unfortunately, people, when they think of travel, because also they are used to a different idea of traveling. You have to attract the right customers. They have to attract people that are on your same wavelength. I think it's very important because there are, of course, those people who say, well, why should I employ your services to give me an itinerary of what I should see or what I should do? Well, number one, I'm a native with lots of experience of traveling around all of Italy. And number two, I always customize for example, my travel services. They're specifically to what the customer is intending to see, wants to experience. And also it's customized to your needs, to your passions. Let's say, for example, you are a creative person that wants to go to Italy, let's say for a week or 2 weeks. I can tell you depending what you're interested in, I can tell you exactly what you should go, what you should be doing. It's not necessarily information you can find out for yourself. So like you said, it goes back to being like a travel concierge. Let's put it that way, yes. Because my experience and my know-how can help you enjoy your travel even more than you would by yourself.
Right.
Yes.
It might not be for everybody, because there are some people that want
No, of course.
they want to see like the big things, and they want the luxury experience, and to stay in the fancy hotel and have everything handed to them, and that to each his own. That's great. I mean, for me personally, I would love that, like the quieter, like the more like eco-responsible and just more personalized service. I think that would be it would be more memorable for me than something that I would have to take pictures of to remember that I was even there.
You said it. You've said it. Sometimes when we go traveling, like you say, if we are not conscious or not take our time to really explore and see what's in front of us, unless you have that photo to remind you of it, you go, oh, you know what? I can't remember being there. And you look at the picture and you go, I remember now. But let me tell you, if you were to experience something like, I don't know, for example, listening to music while you were sitting having food, or you had a memorable meal, for example, or I don't know, you took part in a pottery class, something as simple as that, that will stay in your memory much longer. And you're going to be remembering that experience or the place that you saw much more than if you're just passing through and taking a photo. Of course, it's wonderful to take pictures, to take photographs. Yes, absolutely. But it will stay more in your mind and actually your heart as well, because depending on the experience, it can really touch you. I think it's invaluable to do something like that. I think that's the type of travel that's always spoken to my heart, and I've never been one of those to do like to go see as much as possible in the shortest period of time. And to me, that's not the kind of experience I would want to have. And actually, when I worked as a tour manager, we were on a very strict schedule. And basically, I had to record the time that we spent in each place we visited. And I found it wasn't really for me. And I was saying, oh, look at all these wonderful places. Can we just stop for longer and enjoy them more? And at the end of it, and that's what people paid for, it was a more high-level experience, expensive experience. But at the end of the day, did people really get a full flavor of what they were actually seeing? Because some of the places we were visiting were truly amazing. An example, there's this beautiful place in central Italy called Ravenna, where they have the most amazing mosaics, okay? And it's truly worth going to visit it. It's got it's a small city, and in it alone, there is so much to see, so much to take in, that you can't just skip and quickly go, okay, we'll see this place for half an hour and then move on. It's such a amazing experience, because some of these mosaics literally are truly works of art. That doing it like in that way will really won't fully capture the beauty, what you're seeing, the experience. So I think it's about the other thing that I also encourage. It's about what is called the slow travel, as in stop and fully take note of what's around you, what you're seeing, doing in a mindful way. That's what I mean. Go and travel and see things in a mindful way. Because you will notice things that you might not always enjoy. For example, I don't know, sitting in a piazza, in a square in Italy, enjoy, I don't know, a cup of coffee. And for example, where I live here, I live not far from this beautiful city called Lecce. And it's a wonderful city. And literally in the main square, there's this wonderful cafe where you can sit and enjoy a cup of coffee and a pastry. And right opposite, there is an amphitheater, a Roman amphitheater. So it's about enjoying what's all around you. And you can sit there and admire this view. And it's only when you stop and look all around you that you notice all these different things. And every time, actually, I visit Lecce, I notice something different.
Right.
That's what I mean. Be mindful what's around you. Taking actually, I don't know, like smell the roses. Just be present. That's what I mean. Be present whenever you travel. So you can take in everything that's around you and you can enjoy much more fully the experience.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, I know that at least, in the jobs that I've had, I only get so much time off. And so I want to take, fit as much in as possible, especially, if I'm going all the way to Europe, you want to see as much as you can, but at the same time, the rushing doesn't do anyone any good. I went on
No.
I went on a tour with a choir. We were talking about the fact that we both sing. I went on a tour.
Wonderful.
We did, we did Russia and Siberia, and I think we flew 5 times, and we took the Trans-Siberian Railway. But we were like, it was over 2 weeks, and it was like, I don't even remember it. I don't remember it. I mean, it was amazing, and I got to see some really cool things, but it was just like we were talking about, like, because if I didn't have pictures, I would not remember, because it was all so fast. We would spend like a day in each city and then travel, and then we'd get off the plane, and then they put us on a tour bus, and I would sleep through the tours because
Yeah, I can imagine.
and then to make it even worse, like this was like, what was this, 2002? I think it was 2002. And so and then my camera film was like exposed in the airplane, the airport security, like something happened to my film, so it was exposed, and
Oh,
lost a
oh
lot.
no. Oh no, that's awful.
Memory's lost because I don't remember,
Everything.
not everything, but a lot. I mean, I lost a lot.
Yeah.
But that's how it is, because I didn't have all of those all immersion. I didn't have the immersion of the experience, but there were some things that I did remember.
It must have been a wonderful experience, but as you say, if you're traveling in that way, it's very difficult to be fully immersed. If you're going from place to place because you're singing with your choir, then it's completely different. And I know it's a shame, and like you said, unless you can record it on camera, certain things just you forget. Yeah, you're right.
What I remember
But
from the trip was cantaloupe ice cream.
wow, that sounds good.
Yeah.
See, that's the one thing that I know that there's, even if you don't remember some things, the food you will always remember, whether it's good or bad. Hopefully, if it's good. And that's why, yes, I think the food is definitely a great component of travel, and especially in Italy.
For sure. So
Definitely.
we're going to talk about you wanted to talk about sustainable accommodations, right?
Yes, yes, I do. Well, I after having traveled quite a lot all around Italy and having stayed in various types of accommodation, I think that what I call sustainable accommodation is a better way of actually enjoying the experience. So I believe that home from home hospitality that provides all the comforts, but none of the impersonal atmosphere that you might experience in a hotel is the way to go, because you get, so for the, I'm not just talking about Airbnb. So there is a wonderful hospitality concept in Italy, which is, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, or it's called alberghi diffusi, and I'll explain what that means. Okay, alberghi diffusi, literally translated, means scattered hotels. And the whole concept is to renovate abandoned buildings and just turn them into places where people, like homes, where people can stay with all the comforts, and by retaining a lot of the original features. There are lots of these alberghi diffusi scattered all around Italy. The concept was started in the 80s, and but there are still a lot of people that are not aware of this. And there are lots of these places scattered all around Italy, and they're really worth seeking them out. because you get a nicer experience. You feel like literally you stay like home from home. And it's a wonderful way of basically bringing to life some old homes. They might have been into disrepair, and let's be honest, it's money-wise, it's cheaper to do these places up, restore these places, renovate them rather than build a hotel from scratch. So it's about reviving some of these old towns, these old villages, and giving them a new lease of life. I've written an article, actually, no, a guide as well, a small travel guide about some of three of the best alberghi diffusi that I've experienced all around Italy. And of course, it depends where you decided to go, but I really encourage people to seek these places out. And of course, if they're unsure where they might be, they can contact me, and I can let them know the best places to stay. They're really wonderful places. I guess it's not for everybody, for sure. But if for example, people want to feel fully immersed, especially in the local culture, the local population, I think these places contribute to a better experience, for sure.
I had never heard of that. Wow. What?
That's it. They're hidden gems. I would say I would call them hidden gems, for sure.
And what is it called again?
Okay, they're called alberghi. So alberghi in translated, so hotels, diffusi, scattered.
Scattered hotels.
Alberghi diffusi, yes, the scattered hotels, yes.
But cool. Wow, that's really interesting. And so we definitely don't have those in the U.S.
Oh, okay. Well,
purchase them.
Well, I think the thing that's grown in recent years is Airbnbs, but definitely it's not the same thing, because these scattered hotels, originally when they got started, so this guy, his name is Mr. Dallara, they came up with this concept back in the 80s. He wanted to find a sustainable way to save lots of historic towns and villages scattered all around Italy. Like I said, they were probably abandoned in disrepair. And that's how he came up with this idea. So what they are, basically, it's rooms which are decorated in an original style, and sometimes to every little details. And normally what happens is a traditional breakfast, it might be served in a local cafe or in the kitchen of one of the local houses. And how better to feel a flavor of the local culture than do something like that. I think it's a wonderful concept of hospitality that can make you feel literally like you experience living in a local home.
Absolutely.
And not like a hotel. As nice as the hotel can be, it still feels a bit impersonal, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And then, so does somebody purchase those? I'm just curious. And then how?
What happens, I think, it is a larger organization that you would have to belong to be classed as an albergo diffuso, as a scattered hotel. What it is, obviously, you have to adhere to certain rules, I believe. Has to be obviously something that's been in disrepair that you want to renovate in a traditional style and a local style. And I'm not entirely sure about all the rules involved in this, but I would have thought you would have to adhere, you would have to belong to the Association of Alberghi Diffusi, which will tell you what it is that you need to do to be classified as one. But there are loads scattered in all different regions in Italy. I think many more have been created in recent years that I know of. There is a wonderful one here in Puglia, in the region where I live in currently. And they're just amazing. I think they make for an amazing experience. Much better, in my view, than staying in a hotel. Even if it's a nice hotel, I think I would prefer that kind of experience.
What a great use for, I mean, it's just amazing that there's no wasted space. I mean,
No, absolutely not. In the tour guide, in the travel guide I was talking about, I talk about this particular place, which was a castle. So in central Italy, in Umbria, and it's just the most amazing. Is the most amazing place, and they made use of everything, and you feel like whenever you go there, when you dine, like you truly you're taken back in time. It's amazing. Some of the places you can stay are truly remarkable.
you can stay in a castle that has been like redone. There's been a
Yeah,
castle abandoned.
yeah. Hang on, I need to look up what it was called, but it was called. It's called. Okay, so it's called Torre della Botonta. Torre della Botonta is basically it's a tower, and it's like a castle with all buildings that has been turned into this place where you can stay, and it's just the most remarkable structure where you can base yourself, and literally the place where you can dine inside. You can dine in one of the towers, and it's just the most amazing
So like looking out over
experience.
the countryside.
Yeah, I know it's just amazing. And for example, there is another one which I wrote about, and it's based in Matera. So Matera, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's very famous. Actually, it's one of the places where two very famous films were set. One of the James Bond films, and also The Passion of the Christ, because it looks so ancient. And it is. It's full of caves and cave dwellings, and lots of these have been turned into hotels. And in this particular place where you can stay, you can actually sleep and stay in one of these caves. You got all the modern comforts, but you get this magic experience of sleeping in a cave. So, yeah, there are so many opportunities of staying at a very unique and one-of-a-kind places when you travel. And I really encourage people to search them out because they add to your experience, to your travel experience for sure.
Oh my gosh. That's so cool. That is,
Yes.
I mean, we don't have buildings like that here in the US though. So I guess it's not
I know.
a bank on. But we can go to Italy.
Exactly. You can come to Italy and experience and have a wonderful experience that you'll never forget, hopefully.
Wow. So cool. I had no idea that was a thing. That's incredible, Nicla. Thank you so much for telling me about that. Are you struggling to manage your personal finances on top of everything else? Say hello to Coach Connor. Get tailored support to finally conquer the financial stress. It's time to take control and pave the way for a brighter financial future. Reach out to Coach Connor at Progress Solutions now and start your transformation. See the link in the show notes for how to reach Coach Connor. You grew up in Italy, and then
Yes.
you went to Wales? Did you say you went to Wales?
Yeah, that's correct. So originally I'm from Rome, and then when I moved to Wales, I lived in Wales. I'm married to a Welshman, by the way. So I went to Wales and stayed there and lived there for 20 years until I decided it was time to come back to Italy to live. And so I've been living here for the last 4 years. I relocated here 2 months before the pandemic, actually. I know, incredible. I was lucky.
How did you where you are now? Because you're not in Rome anymore.
No, no, no. I live in southern Puglia, the southern region, which is the most fantastic region of Italy. It's surrounded by two coastlines. And actually, where I live about 5 minutes away from the sea, the Adriatic Sea on the eastern side. And it's a wonderful region to explore. It's full of very picturesque hill towns and beautiful coastline. It's full of heritage and interesting crafts. And there is so much to explore and to see, and it is wonderful. I remember reading an article about Puglia that said that just 3 days spent here, scientists said just 3 days spent here revives your senses and improves both your physical and mental well-being. When I first came here, I was a bit skeptical, and I thought, surely that cannot be true. You need a bit longer than that. But I can tell you that when I first came here with the tour group that I was leading, it made such an impact on me that I decided to move here.
Oh, okay. So that's how you ended up here. So you were doing a tour.
Yes, so because I worked while I was living in Wales, I worked as a freelance tour manager, and I worked for this London-based travel company. And I've been to Northern Puglia, but never this part of Puglia. And so we came to Salento, we visited Lecce and the surrounding area, and I just totally fell in love with the place. It's got such I can't describe it. You have to come here to really fully appreciate what it's all about.
Okay. Well, maybe you'll have a caravan someday, like a whole bunch of people. Like, okay, so we can.
Yes, yeah, maybe so. I hope so.
So, what else was it that you wanted to talk about?
I really wanted to talk about, we talked about the idea of sustainable travel, and I wanted to we touched on sustainable accommodation, this idea of the scattered hotels. So whenever we're talking about sustainable travel, I think what I like to say to people, and they are really encouraged, so once they are visiting a place, is to encourage them to use public transport as much as they possibly can. And of course, it's not always possible, depending if you live in a remote area, of course, you have no choice um, but hire a car. But at the same time, I think you can enjoy a place more if you get on a bicycle. You can explore a lot and enjoy it a lot more. So I always encourage people to use public transport because it's also a wonderful way of exploring the area without too much pollution, hopefully. I know it's not always possible, and if you think about it, the main source of pollution is getting on a plane, unfortunately. Um, but it depends where you live. Of course, it's not always doable that you can catch a train. If you lived in Europe, of course, you can catch a train to Italy. It will take you a couple of days, but it's certainly doable, but certainly not if you live in the States. So, but once you're in the area, I really encourage people to use public transport. I think it's a very enjoyable way to explore the area. And the other thing I'm very passionate about is about sustainable food. And well, let's be honest. Whenever we travel anywhere, I think food is an important component of your experience, and especially here in Italy, where so much local fresh food is available. And even going from region to region, you will enjoy different kinds of food as well. The one thing I wanted to bring to people's attention is something called the slow food movement that was created in Italy back in the 80s. And this was as a backlash to the to fast food and fast living. I don't know if you're aware, but although there's lots of McDonald's and all of that type of fast food and became quite prevalent here, but overall, Italians tend to prefer food that's, locally sourced and food that you can enjoy at a slow pace. I mean, I don't know about other people, but when I'm in a place, I want to enjoy authentic food, enjoy it at my own pace, and totally savor it and enjoy the atmosphere. So I'm fully supportive of this movement because, I mean, we live in a society, I'm not just talking about maybe the US, generally, globally. Our life is always a fast pace, go from place to place without even thinking what you're doing, what you're putting in your mouth. And I think generally we started to become a lot more conscious of this. And I think not just that, and it should be even more so when you travel. And of course, it's about enjoying great food, hopefully at great prices, but so be mindful of the places you go to. Let's be honest, whenever we travel, I personally want to enjoy local food. I do not want to go to a McDonald's by any means, because that's like, okay, fast food that you can grab if you don't have any time, but it doesn't give you a full flavor of what the local food is all about. And I'm sure you agree with me that you want to try some of the local dishes that you might not necessarily be able to eat where you live, or even if you go, let's say, to, I don't know, maybe an Italian restaurant in the States. And let me tell you that probably the food that you get there will be very different from the food that you will get to experience here. Depends where you go. I'm not criticizing by any means, but it will be possibly catered to a different, for a different customers.
Right.
So what you get to experience here, hopefully. And the one thing I stress is please stay away from any establishment which give you, say, tourist menu. Stay away from that.
There's a tourist menu. Oh gosh.
There is tourist menu. If you go to Rome, any place, or the people that try anything that has got like pictures of the food. Why do you need pictures of the food? Or it says tourist menu. It comes at a cheaper price, but the quality is not as good.
Oh,
You don't get to have a full experience, a true experience, what the food is actually meant to taste like.
okay. I mean, I would assume that the pictures would be helpful for us to know what we're ordering. But
Okay, let me tell you, I found from experience that if there are pictures, it's, of course, the pictures are put there to entice you to go into their establishment, but more often than not, the food is subpar and it's not as good as it should be.
okay.
That's why I say about the pictures, stay away. And the indication that a place is good is when it's full of locals. Try and go to places where you see it's full of locals. That's an indication that the food is very good. So that's what I would say. But I'm passionate about this slow food movement, about sustainable food, because most of all, there's been a return to local specialities. It's about encouraging organic farming, about going to organic grocery shops and farmers markets, which, to be honest, are dotted all around Italy. And I really encourage people to do that because in my in my opinion, actively promotes the preservation not only of local products, also local traditions, gastronomic traditions, and at the same time, an environmentally conscious food production. That's what it's all about. And so it's part of the bigger picture. I don't think there's anything better than going to a local market and actually getting all the wonderful smells that you're surrounded by and picking your own fruit and vegetables. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you might even get, of course, depending on you, if they can converse with you in Italian or English, sometimes you even get tips on how to cook the produce that you bought. I've had that experience in the past, which is, I think, is brilliant, And let me tell you, the food is going to end up being a lot more flavorful and not necessarily more expensive. I know organic farming entails that it is going to be more expensive, but what would you rather eat? Something of quality that you spend a little bit more on, or something that's cheaply produced and cheap, but it's cheap for a reason. It will not taste as nice, and it will not. And the way also it was produced, mass produced, for example, think about chicken farms, for example. And when you put on your plate, you go, perhaps I should have gone for something free range. I know, I can understand it depends on your budget, obviously. You have to be mindful of that as well. But at the same time, I'd rather eat less of it, but enjoy more, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, eat the quality and you just don't eat as much.
No, exactly. So, and let's be honest, in Italy, it's very difficult to have a bad food experience if you know where to go.
I'm very familiar with the slow food movement. I didn't realize that it started in Italy, but that makes sense.
I guess so. I don't know if you're aware of it, but I remember, I think there's a massive McDonald's in the middle of Rome, central Rome. When he first wanted to start building it, I think it started as a reaction to that in the 80s. I can't remember exactly when. I remember there was can you imagine? It was a massive demonstration of people. No, we don't want a McDonald's in Rome. As a reaction to that, to this fact that the food, this fast food, and you can imagine there are a lot of Italians who were totally dead against it.
Right,
although they still exist, of course, and because especially for younger people, but not just for younger people, when you travel, sometimes you want something quick and easy that satisfy you, and then you go on your way. So I can see, but apparently this slow food movement, it was in reaction to these fast food places like McDonald's being built all around Italy. I think it started with the one in Rome. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, and I totally agree about the farmers market. I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, I love to go, and then they'll say, I've tried this with such, doing it such and such a way, saute it with blah 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 or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. And I just love, getting their views, whether it's something that I try or not, just to hear, how they would do it, because I know that they've tried it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it adds to the whole experience. If you can sleep in a wonderful place where you feel you're almost like you feel at home, and you have wonderful food, and you're mindful of the way you go about your experience, you enjoy local transport, and all of this, I think, in my view, adds to making your experience extra special, memorable. You use those words, memorable, something you will not forget. And then once you start traveling in that way, I don't think you can ever look back, in my view.
Well, then, you'll have to network with other countries and do like a what do you like a oh gosh, keep a journal of who you would recommend in other countries, so that when someone says, "Oh,
It's
I
a great idea.
worked with Nicla, but now I want to go to France and experience that," or the Czech Republic or whatever, like who would I call to get the same experience there?
That would be a wonderful thing to do. I don't know if something like that exists, to be honest. It would be wonderful to have that kind of community. Yeah, what a wonderful idea. I don't know. Is there anybody out there that's willing to start something like that?
I don't know, but that would be pretty awesome.
Yes, I can see what I mean. Like a kind of platform where there will be somebody like me in other countries. And you can say, if you, for example, like you said, you want to visit France, you should really check out this person because they can give you the full experience
Right.
once you
If there was,
go there. And
if there was like
that
a
would be amazing.
friend,
Yes.
and everyone that does what you're doing has that handy, and then someone can say, Nicla, I worked with you. I had such an amazing experience. I would like to try,
Yeah.
such and such country. Do you have anyone that you would recommend there? And then say, oh,
Well, yes, that would be great to be able to have a place where all of that is recorded, but I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, if you, for example, if you were to go to France, I mean, I actually lived in Provence no, I was in Provence when I was young for 3 weeks, but these days, I couldn't tell you who could help you have the similar kind of experience. Um, unless you know somebody personally that you can recommend. Like you said, if it was like a central place where all this information was available, I don't know if there is such a platform available.
such a cool to
Is there anything like that online?
I don't know. I don't
Wow, what an idea. Okay. Oh, you give me food for thought.
know.
It wouldn't be so easy, I guess, maybe to get going, but who knows? That
Maybe
would be amazing.
two of us.
It would be amazing in the sense that if there like a centralized place where people could market the services, the travel services in various countries. So at the touch of a button, people like you, travelers that like you are interested in that type of thing, could go, oh, those are the details. That's I can get in contact with this person easily, and I know where she's based, and I can directly contact her to have a chat and see what she's all about. Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Like the
I
international
did start something like that. Now you made me tell you, I start thinking,
international
that's a hell of an idea.
concierge or something like that. You could develop that website and I don't know, reach out to other countries and see if anyone's doing that, and then just
Hmm.
on this website and
Yeah, I wonder if the best way, because there are lots of Facebook groups, like I came across you because I belong to this podcast group on Facebook. So I wonder if perhaps starting up a group like that on Facebook might attract. There are people who say, "Oh, yes, I do this in I don't know, for example, in Spain."
mm,
Oh, okay, cool. So and then it could it could grow from there, I guess. Hmm. Interesting idea, indeed. Thank you for that.
your life just got really
Wonderful.
um
It's certainly an interesting idea, which will make a lot of people's lives a lot easier, I guess. Because people like me, like a lot of people don't even know I exist. I have to admit that I've not been very good at marketing myself. Oh, the word marketing, although it's necessary, it just gives me, oh. Gives me the hicks, to be honest. But at the same time, if you don't promote yourself, how are people supposed to know about you? Like, I'm sure there are lots of people out there that are willing, and like maybe in the future yourself, that are willing to be able to use my services or go on my tours, but they don't know about me because unless you're actively on social media, which I am. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. I have to admit I should be a lot more active than that, but maybe a platform like that one might be a nice way of people finding you. I'm going to give you some serious thought. I'll come back to you about that.
I wonder if your daughter could help out. Just like,
Possibly, because she actually the one who designed my website. I don't know. I'll talk to her about it for sure.
exciting. All right.
Very exciting. Very exciting indeed. Yes.
Wow, we are just innovating. But so just to sort of tie this up, Nicla, this has been incredible. Like I feel it's so exciting. It's so exciting that there's something out there for folks that are not that don't get super excited about the whole hotel bus experience in traveling, like but they still want to see, the architecture and the art and the the experience. So it's so exciting that I'm so thrilled that we cross paths. And so now I get to learn about this and oh my goodness, if you get to learn about other travel concierge folks, this would be outstanding. But what does the word sustainability mean to you personally?
Okay. Personally, to me, sustainability means living in harmony with nature and our environment and making the best possible use of what's available to us without damaging our environment. I think that's ultimately what sustainability means to me.
So simple.
Live in harmony with living in such a way that's in harmony with nature and our environment, and don't take advantage of our resources, which unfortunately we've been doing for so long. And I think it's a wake-up call now to be a lot more mindful in the way, like you said. That's why, I'm fully believing what you're doing, because sustainability is such a hot topic, despite of what some people might say. It's the only way forward. It's all about sustainable buildings. It touches all different aspects of our lives. Sustainable living, sustainable food, sustainable, well, as we know, sustainable sources, renewable sources. It touches so many aspects of our lives, and in my view, is the only way forward, unless we want to slowly, possibly, I don't want to be catastrophic, but slowly deplete all the wonderful resources that we've had available up till now, and slowly disappear. That would be tragic. So I think we should have started a while back. We were warned of all of this, but unfortunately we didn't listen. So, but it's never too late. And I think it's up to all of us, most of all about the people that can make a difference, like the people in government there. But at the same time, I think all of us can do our bit in our daily lives, and the way we consciously choose, like you said, and even fashion, in what we buy, our groceries, our fashion, anything, really. And I know I tend to be an optimistic person, but I think we want to bring this at the forefront of people's minds, and hopefully, little by little, People will sit up and start and take notice, and things will hopefully go in the right direction. I'm hopeful. I try and stay hopeful.
Wow. I love that because it's so your view on sustainability is so simple and it's just so beautiful because your idea of travel is to experience all of that, without harming, to
Exactly so. Yes.
experience it in all of the senses, and to appreciate it and to take it with you also in your memories. So that's wonderful. And so if people want to enjoy your experience and experience Italy in your fashion, how can they find you? Or how can they follow you to learn more about what you're offering?
Oh, no problem. I'm on Facebook. It's called the Runaway Italian, and they can reach out to me on there. Also, I'm on Instagram. Although I haven't been posting a great deal, but they can reach out to me. But it can also through my website, which is called therunawayitalian.com. They can contact me through there, and I will always answer any questions. So they can reach out to me like that, and if they have any questions at all, if they're interested in, for example, I've got. Once you go on there, you can see that I offer 3 different travel packages, travel services, depending whether you want to go on a short stay, a longer stay, and also offer one which is called the honeymoon package, which basically it's tailor-made for somebody who wants to spend their honeymoon in Italy. So yeah, they can contact me through my website. And whatever, at the moment, I'm not offering any tours, but I had one planned actually that was called Savoring Puglia, Journey of the Senses. But I think I'm postponing it for various reasons. I'll be postponing until next spring. But so too, you can subscribe to my newsletter so you kept informed of anything that's coming up. Just reach out, even for a simple questions, or if you want any travel advice. Not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily go for one of my travel packages, but if you got any questions, I can put you on the right track. Hopefully, I can give you any advice that's tailor-made for you, custom-made for you.
Okay, that sounds awesome. And so you didn't have your big Journey of the Senses tour is postponed, but if somebody wanted to do a tour with like 2 or 4 people, is that something that you would do special for them? Is that something that you would do?
Well, okay, I'll explain what I offer, but basically my tours are always for small groups of people, and they take up only up to 8 or 9. But I have to be honest, it would need to be at least 6 people to make it a profitable, should we say, tour for myself. But saying that, I also offer myself as a private tour guide. So let's say if it was just one person or 2 wanting to visit specifically a city, let's say like Lecce, you can have me for half a day or a full day, and we can explore. And it would be just much more than just going from place to place and quickly describing it. It's much more than that. So yes, yeah, certainly I can do that. Whatever you would like to experience, basically, and you can be assured that it's not just about organizing your day. I will actually tell you about the places that we are seeing, and I will take you to places that you might enjoy during your visit. Yes, exactly. Places that, for example, if we're visiting Lecce, because I know it very well, and I've already taken people around, I'll let you discover places. This is this wonderful gourmet sandwich shop that you might not know about unless I take you there.
Yeah, and you'll go home and tell everyone about this sandwich shop, and they'd be like,
Mhm,
shop?
mhm. Oh, they make the one most wonderful. Hopefully, we can see each other. You come and visit one day. Oh, it's to die for, literally. And the weird thing about this place is that it's a lovely place, and all of the sandwiches are named after famous painters. So my favorite is Cézanne. Okay, there's like Monet, Picasso, and each one they do a variety. They have vegetarian choices, and they're named after famous painters. It's quite something. Yes,
Very fun.
it's very cool, and wonderful sandwiches. Once you've eaten one of those, you want to go back again. You won't forget it.
Oh gosh, that sounds so fantastic. All right. So this has been so wonderful. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for telling us about what you do. I'm so thrilled, honestly, to learn about what you're offering, Nicla. So folks, look up Nicla Marinelli and the Runaway Italian. I'm going to have all the information in the show notes, her links and stuff. So check her out. And if you are heading to Italy, you better check her out for sure.
Hopefully, yes.
For a very sustainable and memorable stay in Italy.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me here. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope to see many of you discerning travelers here in Italy with me.
I just want to take a second to thank my guest again for speaking with me and sharing such great information. I love having these conversations with folks. I also want to thank Buzzsprout for hosting the podcast, for Jane Bolduck and her music genius, for Becca Coffron and her award-winning artwork. And thank you for listening. I appreciate that so much. Please check out the show notes for any links and extra information. And if you would like to follow my guest and find out more about them, I'm sure they would love the follow. And if you don't mind leaving a rating or review wherever you're listening, and just help to get this podcast in front of new eyes, that would be amazing. I would really love that. And feel free to reach out to me on the socials and let me know what you're thinking. And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, please let me know that. I would love to have a conversation with you about sustainability. All right. Thank you again. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
There'll come a day, my mama told me, when I find love to have and hold me, a heart that's strong and so sincere. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? Oh, tell me, how do I get there from here? 'Cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. We'll find a way to soothe the sickness. We'll heal the hate with sweet forgiveness. Wages of war will disappear. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? I wonder, how do I get there from here? Yeah, 'cause here and now I'm so far down and mercy's bound to find me. grace has finally found me. Well, there'll be music, ooh, and good friends around me, yeah. And I'll just smile through happy tears and wonder